Blessed be everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about how you can release blocks to being who you truly are and actually stepping out in the world and being you, doing what it is that you want to do, simply through connecting to your chakras and doing the shadow work within each chakra. But before I go there, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com and author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path and also Tapping into Abundance. That's particularly good for shadow work. If you want to know more about Wicca, witchcraft, or doing that inner work on the pagan path, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you want to know more about how you can do shadow work with aligning with your chakras in a way that brings in magic and spell crafting all at the same time, then have a quick look at my masterclass, How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers. The link is in the description field below this video. A lot of witches, Wiccans, pagans are attracted to magic and the pagan path and the Wiccan path because we feel a sense of connection and are coming home to this connection with nature, this connection to who we are, this allowance for us to be who we are, not trying to or thinking that we need to be this perfect person or we need to be this thing that sometimes we get, or the impression that we get from maybe other religions that we may have been brought up with. It's about allowing us to be who we are, but discovering who we are at the same time. And so we're often attracted to magic, particularly because magic is a way to bring change. And a lot of the time we rely a lot on magic to make the changes in our lives that we want to make. And a lot of the time that's great and it works, but a lot of the time too, the magic isn't enough. The magic isn't enough to really make the permanent changes. It might bring something in on a temporary base, but unless we actually change ourselves internally and change our mindset and change and remove all of our blocks to being who we really are, removing all our blocks to stepping into who we truly are, the magic will often bring something in only temporarily. And then we're back where we started again, having to do magic maybe every day or once a week or once a month just to keep going. I found on my path that whilst magic was one of the first things that I really loved about the craft, apart from that connection to nature, which was the first thing I loved about the craft, magic wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to change me. It wasn't enough to make the changes in my life on a permanent basis. It was like a band-aid. It'd fix things, but not for that long. Because what really needed to change was what was going on inside myself, my psyche, my relationship with myself, my beliefs about myself, the beliefs I had about the world, and all of the programming that I've received from my culture, from my family, and from, generations of beliefs. And also from the religion that I grew up with as well. And so I had to do a lot of changing and contemplating and going into that hermit aspect to really find out who I was so that the changes that I made could be more permanent. And so the magic that I do can have better results and more permanent results. It is a work in progress. I'm still definitely working on it. But I wanted to share with you how important it is to do that, and how by doing it the way that I've discovered doing it over the last couple of years through the chakras is actually one of probably one of the easiest ways to do it, because each chakra resonates with particular aspects of ourselves and also particular aspects of the material world and the spiritual world as well. And when we're trying to do all of this inner work on ourselves, it can be very confusing as to know where to start and what to do, because it's such a big thing. It's almost a conundrum of, I've got all this stuff that I know is going on inside my head. I know that I've got all these blocks to doing things, these inhibitions to doing things. There's things I want to do, but I'm too scared to do them. I'm worried about what other people are going to think of me. I'm worried that I'm going to fail. I'm worried I might succeed. And then what happens if I succeed? Because that can bring a whole lot of problems too. Where do you start? Start with the root chakra. That's the place to start. And then work up the chakras and then go back down to the root, work your way up, go back down to the root, work your way up. It gives you a bit of a blueprint, I guess you could say, or a map to actually help you get started so that you can move. And what I've found with the chakras is that often you're going up and down the chakras all the time. So you may be working with something that's particular to the heart chakra, such as grief or even sorrow and forgiveness issues within the heart chakra, but it will take you back down to the sacral chakra and stuff that you still need to work on in the sacral chakra. But at least you know what all of these things are and where they're connected so that you can do the work on each chakra to help release those blocks. And it's much easier than just trying to find your way in the dark about where do I start with this inner work. The inner work is so important because when you're more aligned with your true self and you're more aligned with your purpose, the magic starts to happen almost on autopilot. You're not having to do as many spells. You're not having to do as much magic. It starts to line up more automatically. And so the effort you're putting into working on yourself actually helps change what's going on around you in ways that create less effort on your behalf. And when you do spells and you do magic and you're being more conscious and more aligned, you're more likely to be doing the magic that is actually going to work for you and bring things to you that are within your sphere of availability. So start with the root chakra. Start with that connection to the physical world and how you view the physical world, how you view yourself and your own physical body, how you view the material needs of the material world. And I know a lot of us spiritual people, we have problems with the material needs thing, particularly around money. We have a very unhealthy relationship with money in spiritual communities because we see money as being such a negative thing. And it simply isn't. It's an energy. And because it's what we need in this material world, we can't change that fact by ourselves. So we have to look at our relationship with our material needs. How do we get our material needs met? How do we get money happening in our life? And how do we change our relationship with money? So that's a big one for the root chakra, but you'll find that if you can work on that one, on those, a lot of the other things will start to become easier. And then work into the sacral chakra, where you're dealing with your desires and you're dealing with the things that you're attracted to, the things your ego identifies with essentially as you, because that's what you're dealing with in the sacral chakra. It's what your ego is identifying with as you. The things we're attracted to is actually our ego going, that's me. So when we surround ourselves with things that we like, like in our decor, where actually our ego is identifying with those things as being somehow a reflection of ourselves. And we learn in that chakra what we're not attracted to as well, which the ego is saying is not me. So yes, it's very ego, but it's a phase we have to go through, and it's an aspect of the material world that we have to go through, and it does help us to understand more about our purpose in the world, in this physical body. We work up to the solar plexus chakra, where we're dealing more with our inner power and assertion and putting ourselves out there in the world as ourselves. That's a tricky one too, because that is where our confidence and our courage come in, and we have to do a lot of work around that. Moving into the heart chakra, which is about forgiving ourselves and when we forgive ourselves, forgiving others. The forgiveness of others tends to happen automatically when we start forgiving ourselves. And it's surprising the things we haven't forgiven ourselves for. Surprising when you go into the heart chakra and look at forgiveness. Grief and loss, what we've lost in our lives, what we're grieving or haven't grieved in our lives, what we need to grieve in our lives. Into the throat chakra, where then we can start to speak the truth of the lower chakras. We can start to speak the truth of, more of the truth of who we really are, of our desires, of our ability to assert ourselves, and then create from there, moving into then your third eye chakra. Your third eye chakra sees the vision of your lower chakras. So if your lower chakras are full of blocks, then your vision is going to be not very clear in the third eye. You're not going to be seeing things clearly. And then the crown chakra is all about connecting to spirit, and that too is the more connected you are to yourself, the more connected you're going to be to the divine as well. And believe it or not, there's issues with the divine going on up there in the crown chakra too, where we often limit ourselves and don't do the things that we really want to do or should be doing, because we have this belief that the divine doesn't want us to do it for some reason, that it's not right, or that it's wrong, or I'll get into trouble if I do that. A lot of us have this belief that we can't move forward in life because God doesn't want us to. And I'm saying that from, I guess, coming from more the Abrahamic point of view, because a lot of us have grown up in Abrahamic traditions. Not a lot of us have necessarily grown up in pagan traditions. So if you've grown up in an Abrahamic tradition, you may have that belief that God doesn't want me to do all this stuff, even though you no longer believe in that Abrahamic paradigm. It's actually still in the subconscious mind, so it still has to be dealt with. So that's how I like to work with shadow work, and the way that it's helped me is that at each level I've been able to get rid of some of those blocks that have stopped me from actually stepping up and doing things. And there's a lot more work to do. There's a lot more I need to be doing, particularly with witch school. I want to do more with witch school, and so I have to go through some blocks that I've got myself that are perhaps holding me back from moving forward with doing more with this and having more stuff going on with witch school. So do stay tuned to that over the next couple of months. There will be some new things happening here at Mystery Witch School. So if you are interested in doing your shadow work or your inner work with the chakras and really bringing you the magic into your life in a real way, that isn't just about doing spells, but actually really bringing the magic into your life, do have a look at that free video, How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers. At the end of that video, I do tell you a little bit about my new course, which is Wheels of Empowerment, which is working with the chakras in a way that's magical, as well as using healing modalities as well. So you can take a look at those in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.